So yeah, thanks so much for having me. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate this opportunity to chat with you all today. I know we're eating, but I did just want to start with a couple deep breaths. You know, you can chew and do that. Nothing too woo-woo, but just, we're in the middle of our day, and maybe just a couple deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth if you're not chewing. Maybe one or two more just to kind of arrive here and feel really pleasant, really present. I learned recently that one of the best ways to increase our willpower, our ability to do what we need to do when we need to do it, can come just from taking 3 deep breaths. Isn't that interesting? So it's just kind of a neat little way to kick us off. As Scott mentioned, my name is Rachel Sizemore. Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
What's that?
Did you work?
I did, but...
It's in the kitchen.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Please get your lunch if you need it.
What kind did you get? I'll bring it to you.
No, you go. I'll go ahead. I'll go.
Great. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm Rachel Sizemore, and I'm a certified holistic health coach. What that means is that I help people lose weight and learn how to eat healthy, one thing at a time, without feeling drama, deprivation, overwhelmed. I have my clients add in one healthy food and habit at a time, right? Seems strange. So that it becomes a no-brainer, stress-free part of your routine versus what we typically do in our culture. Overhaul everything all at once, try and follow some specific diet plan that came from some, scientist in a lab or some guy writing a book. And it doesn't really fit into our lives, or we do it for a little while and then we fall off the wagon. So we throw that approach totally out the window, and what we're doing is just trying to increase what you do step by step so that you stick with it. I'm also a big proponent of just eat healthy a good number of the week's 21 meals, and then you can go out and socialize with your friends, your partner, have the company Christmas party in January, guilt-free, because you know that the majority of the time, whatever that is for you, 60, 70, 80% of the time, you're eating well and taking good care of yourself. So those are some of my philosophies. And today I'm going to be talking about eating for energy, as Scott said. So before we get into all the things that you aren't doing but should be doing, I want to take a minute, right? There's got to be some of those, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I want to take a minute just to celebrate some of the healthy habits that we do already have, things that we're doing that we've worked hard on or just implemented into our routine that we're proud of. So I don't know if we want to maybe pair up and just kind of, we're in twos here, you guys, and just share with your partner one healthy habit. One for me is I wasn't a regular flosser, and I made the effort, and now I floss every day. So yeah, just
I really expanded the horizons
yes,
of what
Ticketmaster
we're
Nation. I've lost my teeth. So yeah, any small thing, big thing that you do to take care of yourself that you feel proud of yourself for. All right. So, does anyone want to share with the group one of their small healthy habits that they already do?
Busy now.
All right. Well, what do you got?
So I was telling Carla about maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. I just completely stopped buying sodas and juices, like a lot of sugary juices.
Yeah.
So, it just kind of started as me trying to drink more water, and then to this day, I don't buy. I probably have orange juice and milk in my fridge, other than water. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
How about beer?
There's water in beer.
Is it true that carbonation blocks the absorption of calcium?
Can I ask you to hold that question?
Okay.
I do have thoughts on that. I actually do. I can totally answer for you. We'll get to it. We'll get to it in a little bit. Thank you for that. I'm definitely down for questions and always get lots of them. So hold on to that thought. Anyone else a healthy habit they want to share? I know you were mentioning breakfast smoothies when we first walked in.
Yep.
Is that something you've been doing for a while?
Yeah, every morning.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very
Every
cool.
morning. No, lots of months.
What do you put in it?
Different fruit, depending on what's fresh or not at the grocery store. But typically, a combination of berries and mango, banana, and pomegranate juice and kale.
Very cool.
And what do you put as the liquid? Is it just that?
Pomegranate juice.
Okay.
Awesome. So, I one of the things I always try and do with my clients and with the people I talk with is promote some of the things and just celebrate the things that we're already doing. I think it can be too much in the health world of like, I'm not doing enough, I'm behind, I'm, messing this up. And we really all have little things that we're already doing that are great. And it's nice to kind of celebrate them. So despite that, we still struggle a little bit here and there, right? And one of the things I think it's pretty common to all of us, after lunchtime, back at our desks, we should be focusing on our work, but we're just so tired. This happens, right? The afternoon slump. You guys experience this? It's this, oftentimes the lowest energy point of the day and can really reduce our productivity in the afternoon. And it doesn't always stop there. Some of us experience really low energy at the end of a long day when we get home, first thing in the morning when we wake up. Some of us wake up tired. Some of us just kind of have this tired feeling all the time. So I just wanted to ask you guys, and maybe we'll pop back into our groups, is the afternoon slump something that you guys struggle with, or do you have another lowest energy point of the day? And what do you do to cope? What do you reach for? This is a judgment-free zone, so if it's
a bottle of wine,
it's a bottle of wine.
For your afternoon slump, of course.
Afternoon slump. That's right. But so yeah, let's just pop back in our little group shares here and say, what your lowest energy point of the day is and what your sort of usual coping mechanism is. So what do you guys think? Any sufferers of afternoon slump or low energy you want to share? What happens for them and what they do? Any confessions?
Okay, fine. Our candy drawer. You don't know about this, I'm sorry.
That was a secret.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Oh yeah, it's because it's gone now because Stephanie took its place.
Oh, good.
It's been empty for a while, but at one point we had red vines in there, and so
After Halloween was epic, had so much good candy.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get that pretty good
In the
start.
afternoon, that always calls to me.
Totally. Thank
I don't
you.
even know if it's because I'm tired or I just want red vines.
Yeah, they're there and they're delicious. Totally fair. Anybody else?
Lots of coffee
Yeah,
in the afternoon.
afternoon coffee
And
drinker.
probably more in the morning.
Yeah, using coffee to fuel your
Also,
body.
one of the great things about our office is that it's a dog-friendly environment.
Yeah,
So, like, for me and my dog, it's nice to be able to take 15 minutes, take a quick lap, and then come back in.
absolutely. I love
It's a good
that.
time.
Yeah, fresh air is awesome for energy. Thank you for sharing that. So, my intention today is to really change how you approach increasing your energy. And it sounds like I may be needing to come back to talk about nutrition and stress for those who have plenty of energy but can't wind down. I've got to talk about that, so just let me know. So I'm going to give you guys some great food tips, a few do's and don'ts, and we're also going to take just a glance at sort of the whole picture of things, because as we know, food and chemical stress can make us tired, but so can emotional, mental, and physical stress. All those things can affect our energy. So we're going to start out with food, my favorite subject. It's good for lunchtime talk. And what we need to decrease if we want to increase our energy. So I know it's a tendency, right, to turn to sugar or to caffeine to fuel our bodies in the afternoon, in the morning for energy. We all have it. I'm not saying...
I'm not doing that, not to increase my energy. See, I'm the reverse.
I'm not saying you can't have coffee or you should give up, having sugar altogether. As Scott said, I'm not about extremes. But the reality of the matter is, if we're fueling our body with caffeine, soda, sugar, coffee, and consuming other things, processed foods, tobacco, alcohol, these things all deplete our energy. They're leaching nutrients and minerals from our bodies, and they leave us, frankly, dehydrated and vulnerable to a crash. So, sugar crash, I know, dun dun dun. Leaching! They're leaching! Which actually kind of comes back to your question. It's not that carbonation is what's leaching the calcium from our bones, but the soda, the sugar and the caffeine that's leaching minerals from our bodies. I've read into this because I get this question a lot, and several sources that I trust say if you're having a carbonated water, that isn't an effect on your body and you should drink water. And if carbonated is how you can get water down, go for it.
Right.
I mean, see how if it doesn't feel good in your body, don't have it. But if you enjoy it, all day. No, it comes from the caffeine and the sugar. That's what's leaching the minerals from our body. And it has to do with how we process it and break it down. It requires minerals to get it out of our system, and then we end up feeling depleted. And the sugar crash piece, which is important to share a little bit about. I think it's kind of neat to know the science behind it. So basically, glucose is important. We need it. Our cells use it as fuel. The problem comes in when we consume such a large amount of sugar, when we have straight red vines or soda. What we're doing is we're causing a spike in our blood sugar. So insulin is the hormone that's responsible for helping to regulate that, right? When we have an increase in our blood sugar, our body releases insulin, and insulin causes cells around the bloodstream to take sugar in. Take some sugar in so that the blood sugar stabilizes again. The problem comes in, like I said, when we have that spike. We're consuming sugar, something that our soda, something that our bodies weren't evolved eating. You know, we had a little bit of sugar in fruit, and that was only when we found it. So we're having this spike in blood sugar, and our bodies freak out. Oh no, the blood sugar is way too high. Insulin, insulin, throw insulin at the problem. And the body releases too much insulin. So our cells start taking in sugar to try and regulate, but they take in too much, causing our blood sugar to fall. So we go from this sort of peak, this high, this sugar high, to a crash. Our bodies aren't prepared or designed to deal with that level of a sugar rush, and it leaves us with our low blood sugar and feeling worse. And oftentimes kind of looking for that next sort of bump, right? Okay, I need more caffeine, I need more sugar, I'm crashing here. So unfortunately, you know, sugar and caffeine aren't the best ways to fuel our body when we need energy. Not that we have to give them up entirely, but just that there are better ways to do it. And I want to share a little bit about that with you guys. So the key thing, the main thing to increasing your energy is to eat balanced, whole food filling meals when you eat. So a lot of times we're not doing this either because it's our routine or what feels good, or just because we haven't paid attention. But it's a real key to increasing your energy. What do I mean when I say a balanced meal? I mean having carbohydrate, protein, and fat every time that you eat. So, okay, wow, there's some bad words in there. I'm supposed to eat carbohydrate, I'm supposed to eat fat, what are you talking about, lady? Get out of here. Well, you are, and I'm going to go through each of them and kind of explain some of the myths around what we've been told and what is actually true. So, let's start with carbohydrates, a particularly juicy one. Carbohydrates, like I said, glucose, it's a form of energy in our cells. We need it. But there's a difference, as we've probably all been told, between simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Carbohydrates themselves are not bad. We need them. They're great. And the king of the complex carbohydrates, vegetables. Right? So vegetables are largely carbohydrate, and when you're eating actual vegetables, you're getting fiber, vitamins, minerals. Basically, you're eating energy. You're eating life source when you eat vegetables. And I talk to people all the time. Rarely is someone eating enough vegetables. It's my job, and there are days when I don't get enough vegetables in. So, right? It happens.
I'm like, I know I'm eating enough.
There's always an anomaly in the group.
It's true. It's true. Maybe you are. Sometimes you get a raw vegan and all they eat is vegetables.
It's
And
vegetable wine.
it's that carrot wine. I see. They make wine out of carrots. I don't know. It might be gross.
It's worth trying, I think.
It is one of the sweeter ones.
Good market for it.
Yeah. So vegetables. Ideally, eat one every single time that you eat. Whoa, Rach, that's kind of intense, I know. But if you take one thing from this talk today, seriously, let it be, think about how many vegetables you're eating, can you fit more in? If it's, you know, when you're out to eat, you're going to have that burger and fries all day, have a salad before. You know, order the side of broccoli with your pot roast, or pot roast has veggies in it. But you know what I mean, like just being aware of, am I eating a vegetable right now? Breakfast, I know, can be a tricky one. You want me to eat vegetables at breakfast? Yes, I do. And I have a tip, I have a little bonus for you. You guys can sign up to receive my smoothie guide, maybe give you some ideas to change up your smoothie. Although if it's working for you, it's working for you. But yeah, you can throw vegetables in your smoothie. You can have a veggie scramble. You can just eat savory at breakfast. Many different ways to get vegetables in. But even if you don't hit breakfast right away, making sure that it's something that happens at lunch and at dinner is really key.
No, wait, so the vegetable over the fruit, you're saying that because the vegetable has the carbohydrates that we should have versus the fruit that has the fiber.
So fruit and vegetables both have carbohydrates. It's all carb, and it's majority. If you're eating whole fruits and whole veggies, it's complex carbs. Fruits aren't bad; they're fine. It's just that we need more vegetables. So I'm not saying stop eating fruit, especially when you're eating whole fruit and you're having the skin on an apple and all that good stuff. But just that the majority of us are getting enough fruit. You know, we're eating some fruit. It's fine. If you're like, I'm never eating fruit again, I'd be like, cool, that's fine. You don't need fruit to be healthy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not bad for you.
Now you do need carrot ones.
Oh, I know, I need to switch it up a little bit.
They're not bad for you, and there's vitamins and minerals in fruit as well. It's just add more vegetables in. That's what typically where most people need to add. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So what vegetables do you like in smoothies? What do you think?
Kale, chard, spinach,
Cucumbers are really
cucumber.
good. Really good.
Yeah, you throw a little in there, you gotta taste it. Collard greens. I have had clients fight me, and then put it in their smoothie and be like, "Oh, you're right, I couldn't taste it. It was fine."
Carrots are really good in smoothies.
Are
And they're sweet
Yeah, they're
too,
sweet.
so it's not
Just
quite
put them
so.
in your car and just eat them on the way.
Oh, I was
Sweet
thinking that
beets. Yeah, you could definitely do that too.
Celery.
Yeah, a little celery.
Celery's good because it's water based. So
Right,
it's-
yeah.
Oh.
Lots of fiber.
There's a room full of brainstormers in here.
We're seriously problem solving in here. Radish. Oh, breakfast radish. Actually, radishes can be delicious, but not in a smoothie. I wouldn't do that. It'd be spicy. Well, that might be good for
Are
some.
beets a vegetable or a fruit?
Yeah, beets are vegetables. So, I mean, botanically, a fruit is anything where the seeds are on the inside. So if you've heard tomatoes are a fruit, well, so are cucumbers. You know, if you've got the seeds on the inside, it's a fruit botanically. Which is why I'm saying, you know, it's not eat fruit. It's just eat lower sugar lower sugar of the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah,
Like
what
if you're
about the potato?
What about the
potato's gotten a really
potato?
bad rap.
they have
The sweet potato or the regular?
oh
regular
shoot.
potato.
Are you putting this in your smoothie?
No, not smoothie, but just in terms of vegetables.
Does it count as a vegetable though? It's fried.
It's kind of beastly.
So potato and corn, both are technically vegetables,
Yes.
but more simple carbs. And it's not necessarily the vegetable itself, right? But the fact that we have over time been selecting for the sweetest variety, the least fibrous variety, because it tastes good. And so those varieties over time have become more sweet and a little more simple. So not to eat them, but just that it's
don't
not
count
really
everything.
counting
Yeah.
as your fiber.
If you have fingerling potatoes, it's not my vegetable.
French fries. Last time I gave this talk, some guy was like, "Well, in college, I ate French fries every meal. I was veggie king." I'm like,
It also has to do with the way you cook them. And if you roast potatoes, it's better than French fries.
right, because you're not, using fried oil, and we don't know what kind of oil it is and how long it's been there, and all that. That's absolutely true. But in general, with veggies, in terms of raw versus cooked or how you're cooking them, I sort of tell people whatever works. If it's frozen, if it's canned, if it's pre-cut, it's fine. It's the 24-hour news cycle that makes us think that bag of pre-cut carrots is bad for us. It's totally fine. Eat more vegetables. Once you're eating 1 million vegetables, like our friend here, then you can peel and chop your own carrots all day. Like, that's fine. But until you get there, have the
I'm gonna
pre-cut.
take a picture in my fridge.
Look at this. Most veggies are not canned.
But it's honestly fine. It's like take the shortcuts. It's no big deal to have frozen, canned, whatever it takes to get those veggies in. It's no problem. But so other than vegetables, there are other great sources of complex carbs. Some diets encourage you to be grain and bean free, and that can work. You have to eat a lot of vegetables in order to get enough fiber and enough complex carbohydrate. It can be done, but you really have to be conscious of that, because otherwise you're going to be hungry. If all you're eating is protein and fat, you're going to be hungry. If any of you guys have played around with some of those diets, maybe you've had experience with that. The reason why people feel good when they go on a diet like that is because they've given up simple carbs. When you're eating paleo or carb-free, you're not having any cake or white rice or potatoes or pasta or whatever. And some of those things, if we eat too much of them, aren't going to give us energy. They're going to cause a sugar crash. So if you're adding in whole grains and beans, for most of us, that's going to feel really good. It's a slow-burning form of energy, lots of fiber, that's going to help us stay fuller longer. So sweet potatoes, yes, fall into that complex carb. Regular potatoes, they're a little more of a not every day, ideally. But when you go out on Friday night, you've been eating healthy all week, enjoy those French fries, go for it. Don't feel guilty, it's totally fine. Okay, balanced filling meals. Carbohydrates, we good? Yeah, they're good. Protein, also good. And, protein is building block of our muscles, and every single enzyme in our body made of amino acids, the things that proteins are made of. And enzymes do all the work in our body, from digestion to building our muscles to blinking our eyes, everything. So protein is really key. And it's also really key, A, to have it every time you eat, but B, to get the right amount. A lot of us aren't getting enough protein in the morning. So with your smoothie, it's awesome, but you might play around and see how you feel if you add protein into that, if that makes you feel better, if you have more energy. Maybe not, it's different for every body, but it's pretty key to start your day with a good source of protein. The other thing that happens typically in the American diet is that as the day goes on, we consume too much. We'll have too much meat at lunch, too much meat at dinner, and you know how you feel after, if you guys eat meat, a steak dinner, you can feel exhausted afterwards. And the reason why is that protein, particularly animal protein, can be difficult to digest. And so if we're consuming a large amount in one go, that can weigh our bodies down. So there's kind of a balance. You gotta have protein, but you don't want too much. How much is too much, Rach? Well, there are numbers. There's always some numbers that someone wants to give you, right? And it's somewhere between 40 and 60 grams. But again, for every body, it's different. And you hear them say, well, look at the palm of your hand. Maybe that's a good size serving of meat for you. I would say play around with that. Just pay attention. Say, okay, well, I'm not eating a ton of protein in the morning. I'm going to try adding some in, see how I feel. Did it work for me? Yes? No? Okay, and decide from there. Same thing at dinner. Play around. Let me have a little less protein at this meal, see how it feels. Let me have a little more. One of the things I always like to teach my clients how to do is just to trust your body. You have a lot of innate wisdom right in there. You just have to tune in, pay attention. Do I feel bloated and heavy and full after that meal? Do I feel energized? Do I feel good? Really just tune in. Listen to your body.
Is protein powder as good as other forms of protein?
So that's a great question.
Yeah.
Protein powder, well, first of all, it runs the gamut, right? You can have a protein powder that's as poison-filled as, the worst meal you can eat. And you can have one that's more pure. Because, honestly, poison maybe sounds extreme, but it's actually kind of true. The reason why is it's a processed food, right? You can't go out into the farm and, dig up some protein powder. So in general, we're trying to move away from processed foods. Again, it's okay to be where you are, and for some people, having a little protein powder in their smoothie is going to be a really healthy alternative to what they were doing before. So personally, I have protein powder once, twice a week, but I try not to have it every day. And you're looking at the quality of the ingredients. What I was saying about it being poison, like I said, it seems extreme, but sometimes they have additives, they have been processed with chemicals in order to get them into that pretty powder form. You're looking at sometimes a lot of wheat, corn, soy, that kind of stuff. So you want to look for a good quality one, and you want to do your best not to rely on it, certainly not multiple meals a day. If for a while you're doing it every morning for breakfast, totally fine. Maybe just knowing in the future, hey, maybe I'll experiment with some different proteins in the morning coming up. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, just anytime you're buying something that's, in a bag or a box or a package, knowing that, okay, this is a crutch, it's fine for now, but ideally I'll eat less and less of the processed food, more and more real food. It's a goal. It's not like you got to get there tomorrow. It's just sort of like, okay, this is where we're going. This is where we'll get after more time. Okay, so protein. Wanting to get the right amount, where does protein come from? Well, it comes from those whole grains and those beans that we talked about, nuts and seeds, and then obviously also animal sources. So you can get from meat, fish, dairy, and again, it sort of depends. Some diets are going to say animal proteins are the worst thing ever. Some people are going to go animal protein free and feel fabulous. Some people are going to feel exhausted. It's okay to play around, like I said, and eat what feels good for you. And if you have an ethical reason, you want to eat a certain way, you can absolutely be healthy. You just need to pay attention and make sure you're getting enough whole grains, enough beans, enough nuts and seeds to fulfill your protein needs. Any questions about protein? Cool. Okay, so balanced filling meals. We've got carbohydrates, the good complex kind, and we've got protein, and we also have fat. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Well, fat is delicious, so it's good news that we get to eat it. And basically what happened was, however, it was 30, 40 years ago, they started to do research and find these plaque buildups in our bodies and think, okay, it must be coming from dietary fat, it must be coming from dietary cholesterol. And so they made the food pyramid, and they put fats and oils in the tiny little bit on the top, and they made grains without really distinguishing complex to simple, this giant piece on the bottom. And all that happened in that ensuing 30, 40 years is that overall Americans gained weight. And we started doing a little more research, and realizing that heart disease really comes from inflammation, and inflammation is really aggravated by our evil friend sugar, and that at the end of the day, fats are actually essential for our bodies to function well, for our brains, our nerve cells to function. They need fat. If you guys think back to biology in high school, or way back, you remember that every cell in the body has a cell membrane. Well, that membrane is a lipid bilayer. Lipid is the science word for fat. You need fat in order for your very cells to be able to decide what goes in and out. So fat is good, fat is king, fat is back. All good news because it is satiating and delicious. And the problem happens when we're not eating fat. It doesn't matter what we're eating, we're still going to have cravings. We're still going to want more food. You know, and if you're going to be good and have chicken and salad every night for dinner for 3-4 nights, the 5th night you're going to have a pint of ice cream because you're literally starving your body for fat. So I know maybe we've heard some of this, maybe this is a new idea for people, but it's something to play around with. And there are some really good healthy sources of fats. Probably you've heard, avocados, nuts, and seeds. Seeds are a really underutilized one, and if you guys get my smoothie guide, you'll see a fun list in there. Flax seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. All of these are really, if you think about it, you plant a seed in the ground and a whole plant comes out. Seeds are little powerhouses of energy in there, and they contain everything that's needed for life. So it's a really fun way to get some more good fats, fatty fish, and also, of course, your animal sources, right? So again, meats, dairy, you can get fats from those sources. Possibly a little controversy here, which you may have heard of. Basically, when we're exposed to toxins, this is true for us and for animals, our liver goes to work. It's like, oh gosh, we got these toxins in here. Maybe it's mercury or cadmium or different minerals or things that are poisonous to our body, arsenic. Our liver goes to work. It's like, I gotta get rid of this. Break it down, somehow excrete it, get it out of the body. Our liver gets backed up. It happens. When we're drinking alcohol and we're exposed to, pollution in the water, in the air, it kind of adds up and our livers get overburdened. And so what our livers do, in a smart move, is store those toxins in our fat cells. So it's saying, okay, I don't want this mercury in my body, but I'm going to throw it in the fat cell because it's a stable place that's safe and it won't be getting in my brain and messing up everything. So it's the same with animals. And when they're being raised, as many of our animals are conventionally now, in confined spaces, in sort of lots filled with mud and not the good kind of mud, they are taking in toxins as well, and their livers are getting taxed and they're storing it in their fat cells. So when we eat the animals that have been raised in this way, we are exposing ourselves potentially to more hormones, more toxins. Does that?
I totally get it.
Yeah. It's like, oh crap.
I had a bad egg this morning.
So this is not to scare you. I'm not fear mongering. I'm just planting a seed of an idea. And what I always tell people is any extra money that you have to spend on food, any bit you can fit into your budget, spend it first on good quality meat and dairy. Would it be awesome if we could all eat organic everything? I believe that. I've worked on farms. I think that organic is really important. But fruits and vegetables are protective. They're good for us regardless. There's still going to be good nutrition in there. Any extra dollars you have, put towards buying the best quality meat and animal products that you can. And it's just going to be slightly protective against getting extra antibiotics, extra hormones, extra toxins in your system. But, if that's not the case for you yet, that's fine. There's other ways to remove toxins by breathing deeply, drinking a lot of water, going for walks. All of it helps. Any questions on that? I hope I didn't ruin anyone's.
How would you feel if you're over-toxated? I mean, would you just sluggish? Like, would you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we don't know because we're just kind of used to feeling this way. It's kind of true, but yes, it will be sluggishness, it will be low energy. Mental fogginess is another one where you don't really have a lot of clarity, or you're not doing your best.
That's age.
Your best thinking. You think that, right? But it's not. It's actually kind of an overtaxed liver development. Dark under eye circles, different things that you could be experiencing could be indications of it. body odor. I hesitate to even say that.
Glowing.
I forget that we're gonna be alive. But that can be one as well, a sign of liver toxicity.
So I have a question too. My sister has a young daughter, and was really careful about. She always wanted to give her organic milk because she thought like the hormones would make her like mature faster,
Yeah.
whatever kind of thing. Like, is that true? Or like have her period earlier?
Well,
or whatever,
I'm certainly not an expert on that.
Okay,
So I can share my opinion and what I've researched and what I've heard, which is, I think my understanding of it is happening that young women are experiencing puberty and their periods earlier now. And there's several theories, one of which is that they're being exposed to hormones in cow's milk and having the non-organic one, which has more hormones in it. So they've added hormones in to help the animals stay pregnant and constantly producing milk and producing more milk. So it's this hormone to keep them in this sort of like pregnancy phase that could possibly be part of the cause of women maturing earlier now. Do I understand that they've done studies to prove that exactly? I don't know, but at the same time, now you can actually get organic milk for not that much more than regular milk. So if I had a daughter, I'd probably go
50
for it.
cents more.
Yeah.
And if you're really feeling stickler about it, drink the
Gotta
regular
list the
yourself and give the
products.
organic to your baby.
List of
Whatever.
brands.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, so just something to keep in mind, not that you shouldn't be eating animal products, but just that, especially when you're buying them yourself, if you can devote, a little bit of your grocery dollars towards buying the best quality you can, in the long term, it's going to be healthier for your body. So, balanced, filling, whole food meals. We're talking about carbohydrates, we're talking about fat and protein. Ideally, every single time that you eat. Again, it depends on your body, depends on how you feel, how your digestion is. But this is something to play around with. Think about when you eat a meal that has all those ingredients, has plenty of complex carbohydrates, fats that's slow burning, protein that's going to build your energy. See how you feel. And you'll be surprised to find that, I hope you'll be surprised, to find that it does provide you longer lasting energy, and a side bonus that it reduces cravings. So you will be less likely to finish the meal like nom nom, where is my cookie? Which I think sometimes happens to us, A, out of habit, but B, because we haven't. You liked that, didn't you? B, because we haven't had a satiating meal. So that's kind of the key thing. Increase eating balanced, filling whole food meals. The other piece is water. And everyone's always talking about water, and it's boring, we always talk about water, but the truth is a lot of us are chronically dehydrated. So just having awareness, having water with you, starting your day with a big glass of water can make a big difference for your energy level. And reaching for water in the afternoon before anything else can also be a good alternative to help out. So that's what you want to increase in terms of the food. Filling whole food balanced meals and drinking more water rather than turning for those quick fixes, sugar and caffeine. And just before we wrap up, want to kind of throw out the idea that food is just one component here. We know food is just one component of what we're doing. And I just want to read the definition of vitality for us, because I find this to be inspiring and kind of like, oh wow. It's exuberant physical or mental vigor, capacity for survival or continuation, the power to live or grow. So vitality, exuberant physical or mental vigor. Wow, right? Like, that sounds good. Give me some of that vitality business.
Can I buy that?
Yeah. Yes, you can. You can sign up for my program. I will happily help you create vitality. And you can just follow the advice I've already given. But I want to just get back into our partner share really quick and just like imagine for a second. We'll just dream up. What would be possible in your life if you had an excess of energy, if you felt vitality, you felt vibrant? What would you go for? What would you create? What would you do if you had this sort of excess energy? Just imagining what might be possible. Is it running a marathon or going on a trip or getting a dog or having a family? I don't know. What would be something that if you had more vitality in your life? Yeah. So, okay, who has a good one? Who's harboring a secret dream to have vitality? Yeah, yours is wonderful. Share yours, please.
Well, I said I might stay up till 9 if I had some. Yeah.
All the way till 9, she had vitality. I was teasing she would catch up on Homeland.
Well, since the kids go to bed, so it's usually 8:30.
What time do you get up?
bed? We like 6.
Oh man.
That's a lot of sleep. That's good.
But if I make it to 9, that's good. But I struggle. I'm like, okay, 9:15, I can do it.
I can do it. Anyone else have something that if they had a sense of vitality in their lives, they would go for?
Oh, so shy.
Come on.
Dave, what did you say?
She just said have a family. I said lose a family.
Wow.
Well, I would probably exercise more at night.
Yeah.
Get off the couch.
Right. Yeah. If you have the energy for it, you could go exercise.
That's right.
And the cool thing is, when you exercise, you get more energy. It's sort of like a fun little cycle with exercise, but you actually have to get started. Yeah. No, that's a great one. What about you? You got one?
Not a really good one. We were just talking about boot camp, the boot camp we do, and actually just being able to continue
Yeah.
a normal day after boot camp. And not feeling I just want to lay
Boot
things
camp
out.
equals couch, like
Yeah,
after boot.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
Like to get back at it, like not to necessarily take like 2 or 3 days off after. But
Yeah.
to just be able to bounce back and get right back to it.
Yeah, I like it. You know, and we live in Colorado. We could hit the mountains, we can go hiking, we can go skiing, we can do that kind of stuff when we have more energy. So the nourishment, I just want to plant this idea that nourishment includes the food we eat, but also the choices we make for our lives. So are we exercising? You know, do we have fulfilling relationships? How's our career? Do we rest? Do we relax? Do we have some element of spirituality in our lives? All of these things can build our energy or deplete our energy. So you can eat all the health food in the world, but it does help to take a look at your life on the whole and think, okay, where can I build my energy? Where can I put a little attention that's going to actually make me feel really good? So I just want to have us commit to, everyone's going to think about and commit to one small healthy action step based on what we talk about today. So it could be drinking more water, going for a walk in the afternoon when you're tired. Anyone have any ideas? One small healthy action step that you want to commit to after what we've talked about today?
The 3 breath thing I like.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely. Thank you for remembering that. If you just do, and if you want to get a little scientific about it, you can breathe into the count of 4 and out to the count of 6. And breathing out through your mouth also does really just help, like, settle your mind and, again, activate your willpower and help you create more of what you want in your life. So I think that's a really good one. Thank you. Anyone else? Everyone's committing to one, so let's get back in our fair share and come up with it. All right. How's it going? Who's got one small healthy commitment they're going to try out for me?
Mine would be to kind of find a balance across the 3 meals.
Yeah.
Last night we had a party and we had barbecue served, and at the end of it, like I was ready to go home after my second plate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so finding the balance of the 3 components of a balanced meal
Yeah.
across each of my meals.
I like it. I think that's really awesome. And also, you know, if you're having barbecue, you're at a party, right? So you're going to enjoy the spread. But, you know, there could have been maybe a little too much meat in that, maybe mashed potatoes or rolls, a lot of simple carbs in there, potentially.
Just not enough mac and cheese.
What? Mac and cheese. Delicious. I know. One other question that came up that I'll address now. You were saying what you've heard, no carbs after 3 or don't.
Not with dinner.
Not with dinner.
Stop eating before 8.
Stop eating before 8. So those are two separate questions.
Mm.
Ideally, yes, we could all eat our dinner at 6 p.m. and give ourselves a couple hours to digest before bed. That's the perfect world. Does that world happen for everyone? No. That's okay. It's really important to eat dinner. If you're hungry, you should eat food. It's when we don't eat that we leave ourselves vulnerable to eating whatever the heck we can find because we're starving. So eat dinner. If you always chronically eating dinner late, I would suggest trying to eat your biggest meal of the day at lunch. Eat a bigger lunch. Then you won't be as hungry at the end of the day, and you'll need less food at dinner. Is it a problem to eat dinner? No. Eat it. And, you know, like I said, ideally it's earlier. It's okay if it's not. It also depends on when you're going to bed. But, you know, we've all done it, eaten a giant meal and gone to sleep. You don't even sleep that well because digestion's a pretty energy-intensive process. And then the question around carbs late in the day, obviously for my strategy, I don't really believe in that. I think that eating complex carbs is important for every meal. And that could just be a bunch of vegetables. You know, if you have a giant sweet potato and a big salad and some carrots with your piece of meat. Or it could be, you know, is black bean chili a bad thing to have for dinner because there's carbs in it? No. It's making sure if you're having a black bean chili that you have some avocado in there and you're getting some fats in with your carbs and your protein. That's what's going to keep you satiated and keep you kind of from going to the naughties. Not that it's bad to have dessert, but just that you don't. If we're shooting for that 60% or whatever, we can't have dessert after every meal. You know, have it when you really are ready to enjoy it. So, any other questions?
Why do kids love sugar?
Well, we all love sugar.
It's just yours, Nicole.
Who doesn't love sugar? Raise your hand.
Yeah, the anomaly again.
But they just like, it's like, I don't, is it something in their taste buds? Like, what do they?
Yeah, I mean, their taste buds can be stronger, so some of the healthier foods could have more flavor.
Right.
But it's that rush you get when you have sugar. It's delicious, and the food that we're eating, a lot of it is processed to have us eat more,
Yeah.
not to have it be most delicious. So it's like, we're at the Dr. Pepper factory. Sorry to pick on Dr. Pepper, but they all do it. And they have 30 different flavors, and they bring in a bunch of taste testers, and they have them try all 30 flavors. And they pick not the one that people rate 10, this is so good, but the one that they noticed people drank the most of. So it's
Like Gatorade.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
this like sugar. It's a fuel for our bodies. So when we were evolving to find some sugar, you know, find some berries, it's sweet, it's good, it's a quick source of fuel while we're out walking and looking for food. That's great. The problem is that we're just exposed to way too much, and I actually have a really insane graphic that we can take a peek at of what the average American consumes in terms of sugar per day. 11.9 teaspoons a day, 1.7 cups a week. We have 45 pounds of sugar in a year. And this giant garbage truck, it's 3,500 pounds. Pass that around, I have another one, in a lifetime. And this is old, this is from 2011. It's probably worse. So sugar is delicious, right? And
Right.
it's not that we're trying to tell our kids not to eat sugar, but, you know, and if I don't have kids, so I'm not an expert in it, but like, if you're using the sugar as leverage to get some good stuff in first, great, all day. Get the vegetables in, whatever it takes. You know, it's fine. We're doing our best. But yeah, I think kids love sugar and
But is this processed sugar or natural sugars, or all sugar,
I
regardless?
think it's all sugar, but I don't know if it might be added sugars,
Okay.
so not fruit sugar, or sugar in carrots or whatever.
What's your stance on voodoo donut walls?
What is
Once a year.
What is this donut wall?
These guys came up with the idea.
Yeah, here, we have a picture.
Yeah, I do.
There's that. I got a picture right here.
It's awesome. Yeah, I enjoy donuts. I don't know, don't eat them every day. But I think what you'll find, and I know this to be true because I've experienced it in my own life and I've seen it in my clients, when you're eating, oh, that is a thing of beauty, look at that.
It's like the most artistic way to a bypass surgery ever.
As you eat more and more whole, balanced meals, your cravings are going to dissipate. And and as the other piece is tuning in, that part I was talking about in the protein, pay attention to your body. If you eat sit 3 o'clock, eat a donut, and then just set an alarm for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour later, and just feel yourself feeling worse and worse and worse. You'll be like, oh, God, my head's foggy, I'm tired, ugh, that donut did not make me feel good. And over time of eating healthy, you start to say, well, I love donuts, I'm still going to eat them when I really want them, but I also don't want to feel like crap all day. I'm going to wait and eat one on Saturday morning or whatever. So, yes, eat donuts. It's totally fine. Eat them all the time. I'm like the best nutrition person ever.
That's on video camera. So.
For posterity.
Yeah, it's just so we can bring that up again in the future.
Look, we can eat donuts. She
The
said.
nutritionist said we can have donuts.
What I'm really sad is if you take one thing from this talk today, make it eat more vegetables. So I'm sticking by that. So I've given you some good knowledge today. I hope that it was helpful. Did you guys find this to be helpful for you? Get some good info in. For a lot of us, we know a lot of things. We can Google a lot of stuff. It's not what you know, but why aren't you doing it? So that's why I get to have a job, because I help people make it a part of their routine and make it no-brainer. And we do it step by step. You know, it's not a magic pill or a 1-hour fix, but it's really rewarding work that I get to do with people and watch it become a part of their routines. So as sort of a couple of bonuses I have for you guys today, one of which is an offer to do a 1-hour strategy session with all of you, any of you, where it's kind of fun. You'll get an opportunity to get more clarity around what your health goals are and around what's sort of been getting in the way, which can be really powerful too, just to say out loud, actually, it's really because I never do this that I'm struggling. And then we'll check in on your healthy action step, see how it's going, and see if we need to make adjustments there. And you'll get an opportunity to learn more about how I work. So definitely want to offer that to all of you. And also the smoothie guide that I mentioned, I've got a little sign up so you can put your name and your email down, and I will send you that. It will give you some ideas for shaking up your smoothie or trying them if you've never tried them before. It's sort of a builder, so it talks about how you get, take one from this category, one from that category. If you're interested in doing a strategy session with me, you can just put a little smiley face by your name, or you can come up here. I've got some times that I have available, and we can just schedule you right now. So that, and then we have a couple handouts. Dun, 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 which I'll set up here and you guys can grab on your way out. One is just sort of an overview of what we talked about today, top 10 ways to increase your energy, and it does talk about, reducing caffeine, drinking more water, vegetables, of course, my favorite, working out. Yeah, we can just pass it around as well. And then a fun little guy with a few healthy eating ideas in Denver, and there's a couple of them are downtown. It's by no means an exhaustive list, but it's just a few places that I enjoy, and I think you might have a good time checking out as well. So yeah, make a little smiley face if you are interested in doing a strategy session. It's a complimentary 1 hour, and it's super fun. Or come up here, and I can throw you on my schedule.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you guys.